Hi traders, welcome back. Today I'm giving you a sneak peek into one of our great lessons from our new RSI Mastery course. This course was created by Professor Aldo Lagrutta, a certified market technician with over 30 years of experience. And this is his best program yet. And this is saying a lot because these Elliott Wave courses, programs, and bootcamps have helped thousands of traders master one of the most difficult systems in trading. And now he's focused on the RSI, and the results are truly next level. This video is just a small preview of what's in the course, showing you some unexpected ways to use this amazing indicator. And here's something fun. I've hidden a $200 coupon for this course somewhere in this video. And your first challenge is to find it and grab it before it's gone. So stick around, take some notes, and let's jump into this RSI strategy that you can use to take your trading to the next level.
Hello everybody. In today's video we're going to discuss something unique, something very uncommon and extremely effective. It's a way to use the RSI in a very unorthodox way. In fact, what we're going to do is to use two RSIs. What you see in my chart here is two RSIs. One, an RSI with a 35 period with a black color, and the other one, a 3 period with a gray color. So how we're going to use this? We're going to use one of them to give us a confirmation of the trend, while the other will give us entries in the direction of the trend. It's a very obvious, common sense thing to do, but hardly ever used. So basically, the RSI, has a 50 line right in the middle, divides the panel right in the middle, right? So once the RSI penetrate the 50 line from below, as you can see here, prices now RSI is below the 50 and prices are coming down. You can see that prices have been coming down from above, right? So while that is happening, the RSI will be below the 50 line, meaning that if the RSI is below the 50 line, the trend is down. If the RSI is above the 50 line, the trend is up, as simple as that. So here, the RSI penetrates the 50 line, making the definition of a trend as up. But that is not enough. We need the RSI to move up and hold above. Like here, you can see that in the retracement that happened there, the RSI held. And when that happens, we can now consider that the trend has changed. In trading, it's like eating fish. We never take the extremes. Let's say that this is a fish, okay, and let's say this is the eye of a fish. So how do we do this? In trading, we don't eat the head of the fish, we don't eat the tail of the fish. We basically eat the middle part. Okay, that's the way that trading works. We never want to go and take the extremes. Okay, so in this case, the extreme is the low here, but we won't be able to take that. We need to see the confirmation that the trend has changed before we can start going longs, right? Going long here is kind of a very risky business, and we would have to have a unique way of seeing the market to do such a thing. So here we can see as prices are moving up, the RSI 35, the black line, penetrated the 50 line. And now when prices started moving down, the RSI holds above the 50, meaning that this is an uptrend. Therefore, we can start looking for buy signals. And the buy signals are the ones that the RSI 3 is going to give us. Okay, so since we are in an uptrend, obviously we want to buy only, we only want to take buy signals, no sell signals, right? So here it is. The RSI 3 will give you signals when it is, and here is the scale for the RSI 3, when it is below the 30, right? At that point it will be oversold, and it is at those points that we're going to take those buy signals. But for instance, a buy signal here would not be, even though the RSI 5 is below the 30, would not be valid because the RSI 35 is also below the 50. Therefore, the trend is down as per our definition, right? So the first long signal that we can take using this special method is this one, where the RSI 3 is below the 30 line, actually it's even below the 20, and the RSI 35 has held above the 50, and this is a buy signal, right? Again, the RSI 35 holds above the 50 line, and when it comes down in the retracement, it stays right above it, and the RSI 5 is severely oversold. That is another buy signal, right at the extreme here. Notice how the RSI 35 remains above the 50 line, while the RSI 5 keeps giving us buy signals right here. Why? Because it's below the 30 reference line. This one is above the 30 reference line, so we will ignore it. This one is another buy signal, this one is another buy signal. All right? So here we have another buy signal. Notice that so far all those buy signals work. And here we have another buy signal, here we have another buy signal, another buy signal, and another buy signal. All of those buy signals have worked. The sell signals of the RSI 3 are totally useless for us because we are in an uptrend. Let's say that you saw prices. Prices are going, they were coming down and now they started going up. And they make a new a low that is higher than the previous one. And you could say, well, I could actually put a trend line there, right? You could start thinking, well, I'm going to put a trend line there and see if this is an uptrend. And then prices come down and penetrate that trend line, but the RSI 35 remains above the 50. Now you say, oh, this is a confirmation of an uptrend. So I'm going to move my trend line and I'm going to put it right there where the RSI 35 held the 50. And now this is where your trend line is, and notice how that trend line has held prices above it. So until this trend line is penetrated, we're going to assume that the trend is up. And therefore, we're going to be taking these signals of the RSI 3. Okay, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. All of those signals will help you be on the right side of the market. Does it apply to downtrends? Of course it does. We can even look at the examples right here in the same chart, looking for where prices were coming down. You can see here, for instance, the RSI was above the 50. Prices were probably going up. Yeah, you can see the prices were going up. And so now they finally start coming down and the RSI goes below the 50. Well, great. Now we need to make sure that stays below the 50. And when it goes back up during the small correction here, the RSI held below the 50. And the RSI 3 gave a sell signal. Now we're going to take all the sell signals that the RSI 3 gives us as long as the RSI 35 is below the 50. So here is a sell signal? No, because it's below the 70 reference line of the RSI 3. Okay, is here the first sell signal. Here we have one. Here we have another one. And here we have another one. Here we have another one. notice that the RSI 35 is still below the 50. So as long as remain below the 50, all the sell signals of the RSI 3 are going to be considered valid. And where are those sell signals? Those that where the RSI 3 move above the 70 reference line, you can see it on the left side here, and they are going to be buy signals as long as the RSI move below the 30 reference line. You can see it on the left side here. Now you may be wondering, well, how do I put these two RSIs there? The way to do that is extremely simple. Let me give you an example. Well, unfortunately, I have them in all of them. Okay, let me take this one, and okay, let's get rid of everything here, and even here. Let's get rid of all that, and let's start afresh. Okay, so let's look for an RSI. Look for RSI. Your RSI will say relative strength index. Put two of them. Now, the one on top will be the RSI 35. Let's say that you change it from 14 to 35. It's go up like that, or write it down, 34, 35. Okay, perfect. And well, we can change color. Let's make it, you can take the color you want, it doesn't really matter, no? But let's take the black, so we continue with the same theme that we just did. And so now the RSI below, we are going to transform it into a 3. Okay, so we can write the 14 and write 3. Okay, now we have the 3, and maybe you want to change the color. You can leave it in green if you want, it doesn't really matter. So now what you do is that you hold the mouse while clicking on the RSI 3 and drag it to the next one, to the up one, and drop it, and that's it. Now you have it in both sides. Now how do you put the scales? Because now here you have the two scales and they get confusing because they kind of they go on top of each other. So you go to the RSI 3 or the 35, whichever one you want, and then click on these three dots and look for pin scale to the left. Okay, and then now you have the scale here. So you have scale for the 3 on the left and the scale for the 35 on the right. It's that simple. And the signals that you get with this are invaluable. You will be amazed of how often you will be on the right side of the market. And if you're wondering if you can use this in every time frame, and the answer is yes, of course. But if you want to be scalping with it, as I usually tell you, that's going to give you a lot of false signals. You're going to be suffering a lot, just like you do with any other indicator trying to scalp. But theoretically, you can use it in a 1 minute chart if you wanted to. You can use it in a weekly chart. You can use it in a daily chart. It really doesn't matter.